Hi there, I'll be right with everybody, just getting all my screen up and set up for everyone. Let's see. There we go. Thanks so much for joining me today. You know how it is, the phone only rings when you're trying to get a Zoom set up, so that's always part of the fun and frivolity of everything. I get my Canva pulled up here and we'll get started. Today we're going to talk about why it is so important to keep everything together when you're putting together offers, submitting offers, and turning everything in. The whole reason about all of this is to make it easier and faster for everyone to be able to do the transaction, save time and everything that is important right now and always in a real estate transaction. So starting things off, I'm Sam Hayes. This is Why with One Stop. And we're going to go ahead and get the screen shared here. All right, here we go. Okay, let's get this started. I'm Sam Hayes. This is Why with One Stop. This is about keeping it together. Why you should have the RPA and all of your supporting documents signed with the counteroffers, that it doesn't want it in pieces. We don't want to be chasing anything down. A little bit about me. I've been doing this for over 2 decades. I've done over 7,000 transactions. I'm all about file compliance, trying to make everybody's life easier. I'm a risk management nerd, form nerd. I'm a CAR certified transaction coordinator and a forms trainer, as well as a realtor and a notary. I love this stuff. Your success is my business. Any transaction coordinator, all of us are here to make sure that you are successful. So by doing that, we want to share tips and tricks that we have learned as transaction coordinators or individuals who've been on the other side of transactions to help make it a more seamless, smooth experience for yourself, for all of your affiliates, and any of your clients that are participating. So we're going to get into the why behind all of this. I want you to set yourself up for success from the get-go. That means starting with everything fresh, that you've got the correct names, you've got the correct emails, we've got everybody's initial. Is it being signed by the entity? Who is the official signer for that? Do we have proof of authorization? All of these little steps. Oh, we'll get it later. We'll get it later. That get it later is why we have extensions of escrow. That, oh, no, we'll get to it. Oh, I got it. Don't worry, blah, 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 blah. That is crazy making. And that is part of the things where taking the 15 minutes, slow down, put it all together clearly, let everybody who's involved in the transaction, escrow, title, lender, TC, buyer, seller, all of us know, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Let me give you all the pieces of information. Here's who to find. Here's where the HOA is, all of that. Taking those moments and getting it sorted. I know it gets very frantic and it's so emotional and it's wonderful and it's exciting to get something negotiated and accepted. That's a big deal. And that should be celebrated. But I want to be able to make sure you get to that celebration finish line faster by looking at the places that we're creating delays in the transaction, and let's mitigate them when we can. You want to minimize delays of the communication that can then delay close. Did you loop escrow in with the lender right off the get-go? Do we know who's talking to each other? Do I know where the prequel is? Have I seen proof of funds? Do we know what's going on? Do we know that we've renegotiated this, even though you started texting about it? I gotta get this as clear as possible. It's all got to be in writing. Everything about this transaction here in the SUMI state of California, TM, for me, the whole reason we do all of this is so that we have a neutral document that is executed, agreed upon, and all parties can go ahead and reference back to. That's why taking the time to double check the little things and doing it on your phone sometimes is not the right answer because it's so small. I know for me, I should be wearing my glasses. We need to take those moments. It's gonna be a crazy year. It always has been. People are even more amped up because of what's gone on with all of the settlements. Take a breath, take a beat, and put it together. You are going to save yourself time. You're going to be known as, you're going to be calmer. You're going to have more brain space to work on your other transactions. And on top of that, you're going to be able to go ahead and have a complete thing so you can answer the questions and help keep everybody on a more even keel, better level for communication in the transaction. It provides risk management. Everybody's seen everything. It's not, oh, it was on that page. You didn't see it. No, I didn't see it. I don't know if you saw it. I have no proof you saw it. Nobody's initialed it yet. That doesn't work. That makes everybody nuts too. You want to make sure that we can show that everybody saw all the same information from the get-go, that they had the numbers, they had the time frames, they had all of that when they agreed. That's how you get a great long-term client. And that's how you are going to be building this referral-based business that is going to be so key, because relationships are going to mean everything. They already do, but it's even more so with what's coming up in this year. So those are some key points of why this is such a big deal. Who needs what signed? Do you even know who needs what signed? What is the lender going to need? What does escrow need? What does title need? What does your TC need? Who needs what? Does everybody have all the pieces they need? If you don't know or don't understand or have some questions about it, talk to your TC, talk to your escrow officer, talk to your lender. Hey, what are you going to need? What can I put together in my opening package when I open an escrow with you? What can I do to make your life easier? Same thing with if you're taking a listing and find out, are you pre-opening title? I hope you are. I hope you're going ahead and pulling that prelim, that you're taking a look at it with your clients. I just had a deal where suddenly, poof, we have an extra seller. I don't know where that came from, but taking the time to review that prelim, that would have mitigated it. We now have to redo all the docs. Or the fact if your buyer wants to add their spouse or a parent or something along those lines, it is so much easier to start with everybody and take people off. Adding people on, we have to have them sign all the documents. That's the AOAA in the RPA that you're going to have to go back and revisit. I believe that's 23, RPA 23 or 26. I always reverse that one in the RCSD in my head. But that's going to have to happen. You know that's going to have to happen. So going, oh, we'll deal with it later. We'll deal with it later is where we get into these last minute drama things of everybody stressed out and trying to slide into home on closing, and it's just crazy making. Who needs what? Who wants to do what? What's the game plan? Have that conversation. Let's find out from the start. Make this a much easier transaction for everybody involved. Where's the prequel? I know as a TC, I ask for the copy of the prequel all the time. We're 5 days in escrow. I'm like, who's the lender? I've got nothing. I have no idea. Well, we send it over with the original offer. Typically, well, I encourage the clients that I work with to CC me on every communication, even if we don't have an accepted offer, because of course, as you know, brokerages need to keep all offers on file as part of their records. So, including your TC, you're talking to your broker, how they want to process that. Just a little side hint makes everybody's life easier. If I get that original offer, I can go back when it's accepted. I've already got the prequal. I can do my job that much faster because I know who to get in touch with. I know who to loop in with escrow if they're not already connected. This is all about connection. This is all about making sure that everybody knows where to get their answers from so that we're not wasting time having to, well, let me ask you, well, you're on a call. Well, that call led to this call and that call. And now we're 5 hours later. I've moved on to another file that's a bigger fire. I can't get to you to tomorrow. Suddenly we're closing escrow 4 days late. That's how it happens. Just these little silly things really extend out your escrow length. And they really are little silly stumbling blocks that if we just take about 5 minutes, that 5 minutes I've seen give 5 days to a week back. It's worth taking your time. Your clients matter. This transaction matters. This is all big stuff of people's dreams. This is big stuff. We need to treat it as such and give it that kind of respect. So let's get that information to each other as quickly as we can in the beginning, correctly, with all the info that we know how to connect everybody. Then you can move forward with a much smoother transaction. Are you in escrow? Awesome. Get everything to your TC ASAP. I see it all happen all the time. Somebody's like, please CC my TC, but they don't include them in the email. They just put their name down below in the body of the email. So the TC is not even looped into that email introducing them. You want to make sure that you are working with a transaction coordinator who is your partner in your transactions. They need to be able to be lockstep with you. They need to be somebody who understands your style of working. They need to also understand the importance of their role in your transaction. The way I look at being a TC is I am a risk management specialist. I am doing everything possible to build a defendable in-court file. The more pieces I have and the sooner I'm involved, the sooner I can start laying out the foundations for a smoother escrow from my side. Asking questions, looking for holes, looking for red flags. I see more files than most agents do. Last year, unfortunately, there are over, what was it, 75% of agents did one or less transactions. That's a big deal where I did several hundred. I'm seeing contracts all day long. I look at paperwork all the day long. Well, you may be looking at comps and at properties and dealing with your clients, which is a different aspect. So we bring those two gifts together like puzzle pieces. And if we can work together so that it becomes seamless, that brings benefit to both of us. That's why your success is my business. I want you to be successful in what you do. This is a big one. Stop and go to the dre.ca.gov. It takes 2 seconds. They actually now have on the MLS, you got to go look, put the actual broker number in, put the agent's number in. Well, I don't know. I didn't pull it from the MLS. I didn't know where to look it up. Take 2 seconds and go look it up. That is a huge other stumbling block. We technically don't have a fully executed contract without that information. These little holes. Is it technical? Yes. Is it going to cause a fight? Yes. Is it silly? Is it important? Well, yeah, that's people's licenses. That's the broker. That's who's responsible for all of this. Take the time, get it right from the get go. If it's not there, clarify it on your counter or include the AC, the confirmation of agency. Form created exactly for this, just clarifying this is the broker, this is the agent of record, this is the broker, this is the agent of record, which side they're representing. Everybody signs off and understands this is our side, this is your side. We now negotiate. It's really important and we need to clarify that agency. This goes into civil code requirements in the transaction. Be smart. Take your time. Don't assume. Well, I texted. Well, we talked about it. Well, it'll be fine. We're going to do it in a. How many times has that been a quick? Well, the agent and I talked to each other. Well, you're not party to the contract. What are you doing? We need to make sure that we're getting everybody in writing. Text is not in writing. I need meeting of the minds. I need to show in writing, signed off, approved, incorporated in the contract. This is what we've agreed to do. Don't just assume everything's going to be okay and don't just assume that this is how we can run the transaction. We cannot base this off of conversations. They're important. And then we need to circle back and send an email saying, hey, great talking to you today. I want to recap, blah, blah, blah. Please confirm receipt of this email. Thanks so much. I look forward to working with you. Or here's my next steps. I'll CC you on the DocuSign. Don't assume. And don't think that conversation is going to hold up in court. I don't care how many times you talk to your clients. They love me. It's my brother, cousin, sister. Nobody cares. I want you to be able to all sit down at Thanksgiving together because you have been able to have a very clear meeting of the minds with a neutral document. It's really important. Take the time. Don't just think you can fly by the seat of your tush. It's going to be later, next day. Blah, blah, blah. Again, all of this frantic stuff that I keep saying because it's that important. It's that simple and it's that silly, but it really does matter and it changes our transactions. Taking the 5 minutes now is going to help you not end up the next day, day after tomorrow. Oh, we've gone into a weekend. Oh, we've got a holiday. Now we're 5 days behind. Buyers need to initial all pages of the contract. That's why make sure they're also initially on page 17. That gets missed. Technically, that's not a fully executed contract without that. Thanks, Tina. These are all things that I know everybody does know. And I know it's one of those things where you're like, well, it'll be fine. I don't want it to be fine for you. I want it to be excellent. I want it to be above and beyond. I want you to be the service and knowledge broker for your clients. That's going to be what's going to make the difference this year in transactions. That's what's going to be what's going to help you stand out with all the changes and things going on. These little bits of attention to detail are just so key. But don't be missing your initials. Messes up stuff. Threw this one in just because I love to say this. Trusts don't have hands. If you have an entity selling an LLC, a trust, an incorporated business, you don't want that signing the ABC trust. That ABC trust does not have hands. I need to have the name of the signer and their title as best practice. You do not have to do that. That's why we have the RCSD. However, my little notary brain likes to see a title. Plus, it's again clarification that that individual is definitely signing on behalf of the entity and not themselves. So if there's ever a gray area, it was repeated over and over and over again. I'm a big fan of redundancy, as you can tell. Again. So trusts don't have hands. Do not use the name of the entity. Make sure you're using the name of the signer and that you have documentation showing their signing authority. Close of escrow. Everybody forgets everything. We don't know. It's close. I don't remember. What? We got carpet? I don't know. It's all gone. All this documentation is so key. This can mitigate needing to go to mediation or arbitration. This can mitigate going into lawsuits. Having this documentation written down, signed, fully executed, all time date stamped together. We've got these great tools to e-sign. I mean, some of us remember back in the day, press hard, you're doing 3 copies on the blue carbon with our giant binders. Used to be a sea of binders behind me. We have so many wonderful tools that do help things get expedited. We are able to have things signed around the world at the same time. Take the time to make sure it's done correctly. Make sure everybody signed all changes, everybody initials all changes, everybody acknowledges all changes. We don't want to leave anybody out. Keeping that closed loop of communication is so important. It's going to help save time, get you onto your next deal, take care of these clients so they're going to refer you the next deal, and all in all, step back and make it a well-oiled machine that is your business that I'm hoping for you in 2025. Read the contract. Just make sure you read it over before you're sending it over to your clients. Little boxes. I remember back in the day with one faxed where a loan contingency remained in place and it was missed because of it being on a hard to read fax. And it's still stuck with me 20 years later because of what a big deal that was. Double check every section that can be changed. You know which ones don't. It's all been moved to the front. They've streamlined the contract. So everything's right there in that grid. So all the anything that could be tweaked, anything that could be customized to your transaction, that's where it is. Focus your energy there. Double check for initials. Don't rely on your e-signing software. Even though there are templates in place, stuff gets missed or they have places where it shouldn't be signing yet. I know the request for repairs, suddenly extra signatures can show up. Just kind of quick eyeball, use our tools, but you are still the expert who needs to be the one eyeballing it. You need to be reviewing it. You need to be making sure that you are taking care and getting everything done correctly with the correct information. This is a legally binding contract that you are working on. Any questions? Please feel free to put them in the chat or jump in. I appreciate you joining me. I am going over to I'm going tomorrow, I should say, to the new laws class. So next week will be about all the fun new laws here in California. That's going to be a little bit more deeper class, a little bit longer, but I'm trying to do these every Wednesday. So this is Why with One Stop. I'm Sam Hayes. Please verify all with the broker of record of the file you're working on. Feel free to call me anytime. I will talk about this stuff till I'm blue in the face. Have a great day. I appreciate you being here.